Hello, good morning students, and welcome back once again to another video for the class 9th. So from today onwards we will be focusing on the post-midterm exams and therefore we will be focusing on the gravitation chapter. As you know, in the first exam pre-midterm we had the first chapter, that is motion. In the second exam we had laws of motion. So now in the third one, post-midterm, we will be having gravitation, and for the final exam, whole syllabus plus the work and energy chapter. Okay. So for this one we will be talking about gravitation. So let's start from the very beginning. So gravitational force is a force that is universal force, and it happens between any two objects in the universe. Okay. And the universal law of gravitation was given by Sir Isaac Newton, and the law stated that the gravitational force between any two objects is given by the product of their masses, and it is also dependent on the distance between them. How? Such that the force is directly proportional to the product of masses, and the gravitational force is inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. Okay. So when you observe this statement, the universal law of gravitation states that the force of gravitation is directly proportional to the product of masses, that is m1 and m2, and the force of gravitation is inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. This means that the distance grows. If the distance is small, then the force is less. If the distance is less, then the force is more. So if the two objects are very far away, then the force of gravitation will be very less, because we are not just taking the distance, we are taking the square of the distance. So if the distance is more, or the distance between them, it is dependent to the square times, that is exponential difference between the two objects. Okay. I hope it is clear to you, students. Now what we do is we combine these two, and therefore ultimately what we get is that the gravitational force is directly proportional to the product of masses and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. Okay. Now as we know, whenever we remove this proportionality sign, there is a constant which balances the equation, and for this we have gravitational constant or universal gravitational constant. Okay. And its value is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. We also know that it is called universal gravitational constant because anywhere in the universe the value of gravitational constant does not change. I repeat once again, in the universe the value of gravitational constant does not change. Okay. And its value was given by Henry Cavendish. The value of gravitational constant G, that is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square, was given by Henry Cavendish. Okay. Don't forget this name. The value of gravitational constant was given by Henry Cavendish, and its value is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Its value does not change in the universe. Whatever the values of masses and the distance be, but the gravitational constant always remains the same anywhere in the universe. Okay. Not just on the surface of Earth, but anywhere on the Earth. I hope this much is clear to you, students. Okay, students, so obviously we are on the surface of Earth and we experience the gravitational force because of the gravitational pull or the gravitational force of Earth on us. Okay, so these are the few points why the gravitational force is very important. Okay, And the first one is the force that binds us to earth. So we are standing and we are going about and doing our work only because of the gravitational force of earth on us. If that gravitational force was not available, then we would have been floating around in air without any control of our body. Okay, it is the gravitational force which binds us to the surface and other objects as well. We are able to do many tasks only because of the gravitational force of earth on us. Okay, the next one is motion of moon around earth. Sorry, I forgot to write motion of moon around earth. So moon is revolving around earth because of the gravitational force of earth on the moon, and vice versa. Moon is also a heavenly body, so it is also applying the force on earth, but less because the mass of moon is less. Okay, the pull applied by earth on moon is more. Okay, the force between the two is exactly the same. Understood? The motion of planets around the sun. Motion of planets around the sun. So sun, as we know, center of our solar system, and all the planets revolving around the sun, also because of gravitational force. Occurrence of tides, that means high tides and low tides happening in the seas, is because of the gravitational force of attraction of moon on our earth. So moon is also applying the gravitational force, and because of this the high tides and low tides happen. And the last one is the flow of rivers is due to the gravitational force of earth on water. So many rivers flowing from the mountainous regions towards the seas and oceans because of the gravitational force of the earth. It is pulling the water, and therefore the water is flowing down into the oceans and seas from the mountains. Okay, so these are the few points which indicates why the gravitational force is important for us. Okay. The next point in the chapter is free fall. What is free fall of an object? Okay. So when an object is falling freely under the influence of gravitational force only, that means no other force is acting on it, just the gravitational force. That means if I drop this marker from the hand towards the surface, then it is falling under the influence of gravitational force. But we know that we have atmosphere around us as well, correct? And that atmosphere or the air around us is applying the fluid friction that we studied in 8th standard. Okay, so atmosphere is or air around us is also applying the frictional force on the objects, and so a little bit of gravitational force or the fluid friction is acting in the opposite direction of the gravitational force. If we imagine that the object is falling under the influence of gravitational force only, that means no other force is acting on it, no fluid friction, nothing, then such a fall of an object is known as free fall. Okay? Generally, if the mass of an object is more and it is streamlined or like this, a very smooth surface, then fluid friction acting is very less, so we neglect the fluid friction and we can say that this marker is actually free falling because the fluid friction acting on it is very less. Okay, I repeat once again, the objects like this, if it is very smooth and mass is more, or ultimately we can say the density of the object is more, that means the volume is less and mass is more, then the object is free falling because the fluid friction acting on it is very less. I hope it is clear to you, students. And so we can say that if the fluid friction acting is very less, then the object is free falling. Okay, that means no fluid friction or very less fluid friction is acting in such a way that we can ignore it or neglect it, and it is not making much of a difference on the motion of this object, and so we can say that the object is free falling. So what can be said about the definition? Simply, once again, if I repeat this, an object falling under the influence of gravitational force only. I repeat, an object falling under the influence of gravitational force only, then such a fall of an object is called free fall. Okay, that means no other force is acting on it. Okay, we move on, and the next point is the acceleration due to gravity. Now obviously, if this object is falling, that means it is moving, its place is changing, the displacement is happening, and so the object is in motion, and motion happens when there is acceleration, and we need to find the acceleration happening due to gravity. So the next point is acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. So for this we will require the motion, and in order to do that we will have to go back to the previous chapter where we studied the laws of motion. So we have two formulas for force, that is one which we studied in the laws of motion chapter, which is given as force is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, so if the object is falling, that means the force is acting on it, and we know which force is acting on this, gravitational force. So I can write this force is gravitational force acting on it. Mass of the object, which is whatever we have taken. In this case I am just writing m, and acceleration, that we don't know. What is the acceleration? This is exactly what we need to find. Okay, but in order to do that we will require the value of force as well, and so in order to do that we will use the gravitational force, that is F of g is equal to g into mass of earth, because there are two objects involved. One is the earth and the other is the marker, or whatever the object that you are using. Okay, so mass of the earth, and I am writing mass of the object, that is just small m, upon distance. Now this distance is because we are very close to the surface of earth, we are taking this distance as radius of earth square. Now since these two forces are same, I will be equating them, and so ultimately what I have over here is mass into acceleration is equal to g into mass of earth into mass of object upon radius of earth square. The distance is taken as the radius of the earth. Since these two masses of the objects are same, therefore mass can be cancelled from both the sides, and what we have remaining is acceleration is equal to g into mass of earth upon radius of earth square. Now all of these values are constant, that means the radius of the earth also remains constant, mass of the earth also remains constant, and g is a universal gravitational constant, and all you need to do is substitute these values and find the value of acceleration, which will give you somewhat a is equal to 9.8 meters per second square. Now this acceleration is happening solely because of the gravitational force of the earth. As you can see, we have taken mass of the earth and radius of the earth. So this acceleration is happening because of earth. Okay, so we are writing acceleration due to gravity of earth, and so we have changed the symbol. It is not just any acceleration, it is acceleration due to gravity. Okay, this is acceleration due to gravity, symbol small g, and hence this is the unit acceleration, unit of acceleration, that is meters per second square. I hope it is clear to you, student. Quite simple actually. Acceleration due to gravity. Now you can see over here no mass of the other object is involved, and therefore this acceleration depends not on the mass of the object involved. So if you are throwing a small marker like this, or a small pencil like this, or a rubber like this, it doesn't matter. The acceleration for all the objects is same. I repeat once again. Acceleration for all the objects is same. It does not depend on the mass of the object. Understood? Very simple.